Welcome, everyone, to the second version of the Mustang Broncos basketball coaches show. I'm your host, Brody Feldman. Sitting alongside me, head girls basketball coach, Katie Bass. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good right now.
You should be. You're sitting at 7-1 on the season. Your lone loss coming from Norman in the second game of the season. Was that 3 weeks behind us at this point?
Yeah.
I've talked to you a few times since then. And so I have to ask, what kind of motivation are you still using from that game? Because I know there's a little bit in there.
Well, I think that game, we always go back to that game on exposing all of our weaknesses as a unit. And we have tried to build ever since that loss each game and try to get better each game. I really do believe that we have, and watching them work together as a unit really showed even more in this tournament, especially in the championship. We had 4 out of our 5 starters. Really, our 5th starter was like 1 point away from all in double figures. So that just screams that we are a unit. We all play together. We all matter. And I'm just after that win, I was just more proud of them keeping their composure and everything against MM North. But the Norman game really did fuel us and really show us what we need to work on. And I really do feel like we always go back to that game. And so I'm really proud of the direction we're going right now. So
You've come off 2 tournament wins in a row. You now sit at number 5 in the state. Mm-hmm. You defeated Edmond North in the championship game at the Cornerstone Bank Mustang Holiday Classic, but you sit behind them in the rankings. How does something like that happen?
Well, there's probably I have a lot of opinions about that. It just goes back to coaches' rankings, and some coaches might still think that they're better than us, and that was a fluke. And if that is the way they feel, I feel like tonight will be great motivation for us to prove to all of those coaches in the state that ranked us lower that we really are the better team. And I think that's what we're going off. Even after practice yesterday, when we saw that, I told them that should motivate you. And what better way to prove that on their own court? And, we've made some adjustments and some other things that we want to do differently against them to better us. And we really do feel like it's going to work. So, but that's part of rankings. And it's frustrating, but it's okay. We have a lot of season left. We're not even at the halfway mark yet. So I always say rankings are what they are, but at the end of the day, they all balance out. The winner will win. So.
You're talking about your victory over Edmond North in the Holiday Classic. It took double overtime to pull out a victory over the Huskies.
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is like as a head coach to coach in something like that? Like, what are the emotions like from thinking the game is over, then we got to go to another overtime, and then overtime you're like, okay, this is it, girls, and like, oh, wait, just kidding, another round. Yes. So how is that?
Well, I always go back. This has happened to me about 3 times. The first time it happened to me was in the semifinals of the state in 2016. I played Muskogee and went into double overtime and won it to go then into the state championship. I think the biggest deal as a head coach is to keep your composure, especially with my team because they're a younger team. We always say what a team looks like in that moment really screams just how we deal with adversity. And I feel like, I was really calm. I was like, okay, it's 0-0 again. Like that's how you say it. It's 0-0. We're back to 0-0. Let's go. We're going to keep this. We're going to do this adjustment. We need to switch you on her. Just things like that. So their mind is more on that and not like, oh my gosh, we have to go, they just start playing out of the game plan. And I think I was really proud of that, and I had a lot of people, tell me that they really saw the grit and the fight that they chose, and they really did play more together, I felt like, in those 2 overtimes than they did the whole game. So that's what I was most proud of, was just handling all of that and emotion, and there were so many people there. And, a lot of our girls have played with a lot of those girls from Edmond North, so that's even another emotion. And so, it is hard, but I feel like as a coach, that is the most fun type of games to coach. I mean, they're just so fun. They're fun.
And you talked about your group being a younger group. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, I've slept from then, and I watched 24 games in those 3 days.
All day, every day.
But I want to say you had some foul trouble.
We did.
How do you work with foul trouble with an extra 8 minutes on a game and thinking, I can't I don't really feel like I can take you out because I need you on the court, but yeah, I can't have you get that last foul. I mean, what kind of coaching strategy do you use with that?
Well, sometimes we put them on different people. Thing about Edmond North is that they start a freshman and then another guard that aren't as strong as their other players. And so what you do, you just adjust to that and you put them on, some different players that aren't as big as scorers so that you can save from getting in foul trouble. I think the thing that saves us too and is helpful is that we also have a 6th and 7th man that can always help us. And, some teams might not have that. And so that's always in our back pocket because those two that usually come in a lot, there's no drop off. So that I feel like, with this group is that they understand, okay, I can't foul, but I can still play aggressive. I remember Randy telling me that I have 4 fouls. I'm like, it's okay. Just keep going. Just compose. You don't have to go for the steal. Just keep her in front so you don't get a reach in. You don't need, just keep playing. And I was really, really proud of them for doing that. So.
Well, even like you said, the 6th and 7th person coming off the bench, I mean, you pick up that 5th foul. Say St. Randy does pick up that 5th foul. When you have a D1 commit coming off the bench, I mean...
Yep, it's pretty nice. It just makes you feel more comfortable. And the fact, I feel like also, because, last year Pogai had to run point guard for us because we didn't really have a true point guard. Randy coming in helped us relieve that because Pogai is a better three-point shooter off the pass or off the dribble. So now the good thing is that Pogai still has that experience from last year. So if Randy was to get in foul trouble, we can move Pogai to the 1, or even Carly Johnson, sorry, we call her KJ, to the 1. And so now I feel like we have multiple girls that can play multiple positions, which is nice for us and makes us harder to guard from the other opponents. So
talking about the tournament that Foreman and Guzik and the athletic department put together. Outstanding tournament. Looking through the bracket, it's amazing to see the competition that comes in. And I think I cut you off saying best tournament in the state.
Well, and I think that the difference between this tournament and any other tournament I've been in is the hospitality about it and the organization. It is probably the best ran tournament. And then it's awesome to be in your own court, shooting at your own goals. That even
sleeping
is a benefit.
in your own bed.
Yeah, sleeping in your own bed. But, it's just the hospitality about it and the feeling about this tournament that I love. Yes, it's great competition. All of that is great. But I think it's all the extra they do that really sets it apart from other tournaments.
But talking about that, what can you look at the bracket and you see Class A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A to 6A. I mean, you have all classes in there, but it don't matter who you play on any given day. If you're not on top of your game, you're going to the loser's bracket.
We literally beat every single team we had beaten, hadn't lost a game yet. So Hydro Eakley was like 7-0, beat them. Anadarko was undefeated, beat them. And then Edmond North was undefeated, beat them. So we literally went in playing high-ranked. Like I think Hydro Eakley was number 1, Anadarko was number 1, and Edmond North was number 3 in 6A. And so that just shows us that if we're doing this early and we continue, I'm just really excited about the season. So.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and right after the commercial break, we'll have boys head coach Scott Hodges. Coach Bass, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, 6th to 12th graders. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're into. If you're looking for a place to connect, if you're looking for answers, if you're in need of some encouragement or just looking for a friend, come on over and join us at First Baptist Mustang on Wednesdays at 6:30. We're a place for you.
Raising Cane's, we're all about quality. We mix cane sauce in our restaurants every day, and our chicken is hand battered and cooked to order. And why do we do all this? Because it makes a difference. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Welcome back to the second half of the Mustang Bronco Basketball Coaches Show. Alongside me now, boys head coach Scott Hodges. Coach, how are you doing today?
Great, Brody. Thanks for having me, man.
Coach, you're sitting at 6-3 on the season, but you're finally getting guys healthy. You're finally getting your football players in with your basketball players that have been running for months. How are you feeling now after 9 games about the chemistry of this team?
Man, we're feeling really good. You know, it's funny to see, you know, first off, it's exciting to see kind of the progression that we've made just in a couple of weeks. Going from, you know, first game of the year against Santa Fe, not having all our guys, to now, you know, we've played a lot of games in the first semester. I think the girls and I have played more games in 6A than anybody else in the state, I'm pretty sure. But it's been fun, man. It's you know, it's a group that's really willing to learn and grow. I can just see, you know, the development of our guys from one year to the next has been exciting. And so, you know, we know second semester is going to be big for us. This month is big for us. Got some really good teams we play, but we like where we're at.
And like I was just talking with Coach Bass, she's got a young group. Mm-hmm. You have a young group. You also have a young group that also has a disadvantage of not having a whole lot of minutes together. Mm-hmm. They played together last year, but, I mean, that's 1 year, and now they're really getting to know each other. So what is it, like, how important is every single game with this group?
I think sometimes chemistry, like you mentioned before, it's kind of underrated. And a lot of times people think you just throw 5 guys on the court and they're just going to automatically click, and you run some plays, and it doesn't work that way. And so, you know, I think last year we saw that a little bit, just a bunch of guys that had never played together, and they wanted to do really well. Just sometimes it didn't work out for them. But this year it's better to see, you know, how they're working together. They're taking better shots. They're trusting each other a little bit more. And I think for us that's so key for our team, because we have talent and we've got good role players, and it's just going to be about us. You know, how hard are we going to play, how much are we going to compete, and how much we're going to trust each other. And so that's something that we work on and we harp on every day in practice. And these guys are really embracing it because they understand, like, we need each other. And I think I said it in the first coach's show that we feel like the strength of our team is our team. You know, we don't feel like it's our 2 or 3 best players. We feel like it's our entire team. The numbers. And so, you know, I still feel like we're yet to completely have a full 4-quarter game where we just have everybody click. But we know it's going to happen this semester, and when we start getting there, we're going to be a really tough team to beat. I believe that.
I know 2 of your players that have really stepped up, just from my point of view of watching, Reese Strange and Jacob Henderson. Mm-hmm. 2 big guys that they could possibly be called your wild card. Yeah. It depends on how good they play down low, of how good you're going to play that night. Would you kind of agree with that?
No doubt about it. I mean, they're 2 guys that we started playing them together a little bit more, starting them together, and I feel like they've been really good together. They've in the games that close games we've won lately, they've had some huge offensive rebound putbacks and taking some really big charges, and then when they're in there together, we're a really good rebounding team. Yeah. And so we've got some guys, those 2, and I could name probably 5 or 6 other guys, that it's like, you know, we need you guys to be really good for us to be a good team. You know, we've got a couple guys, you know, Ethan and Jacoby, they get most of the limelight, and they're on social media and all that stuff. It doesn't matter, but we know that our other guys are the guys that we need to really step up. And you know, every team has role players, and those guys that you mentioned and some of our other guys have been really, really good for us.
In the Holiday Classic here on our campus, you finished 3rd with a 58-52 win over Southmore, and you started the tournament with a 62-45 win over an athletic Wagner team. Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts about the competition that you faced and how your team
I was really proud. I was really proud of the way we played really good. And Wagner, it was their first game of the year, which was crazy that it was almost January. But they won the state championship in football, and so they hadn't played at all. So we kind of went into that game knowing what they had last year. Had a lot of guys back, and I thought we played really hard and really well against them. They're going to be a team who wins a lot of games in 4A and possibly makes the state tournament. So I was really proud of them. Then we ran into a tough Carl Albert team who honestly might be one of the best teams in the state regardless of class. I think they're the best team in 5A. But we battled back and we fought hard in the second half, just fell short. But then once you turn around that third day coming off a loss, that's a tough bounce back. Oh, yeah. And so that's something as a coach that makes you a little bit nervous about how we're going to bounce back. And You know, you're not playing for the championship, you're playing for third, but I thought we played a really solid game against a good Southmore team, and competition in this tournament is really good. No matter which way you go in the bracket, you're going to be playing 3 good games, and I know the girls' side is the same thing, and so I was really, really proud of it. It showed, like we talked about earlier, it showed the growth in our guys that we could come off a tough game on Tuesday night and come back and win a tough game on Wednesday.
And Wednesday, not only is it for third place, it's not for the championship, you just came off of a loss, but it's a team that you know so well. Mm-hmm. It's a Southmore team that you had just played like a week and a half before. I mean, so it's a team that they know you know them type thing, and crazy things can happen.
Yeah, and they always have a really good game plan because they know us so well, and then they know some of our individual guys well. So we know some of the things we do against other teams won't work as well, so we have to change things up a little bit. But like I said, we just had a really, really solid game. I think we're up 11 with 2 minutes to go, and they ended up cutting it to 5 or 6. But we ended up holding on, and so we'll see them again at the end of the season. And I know that'll be a tough game too. But tonight we've got a tough one too. So we got a big opportunity at Edmond North, who's ranked I think number 2 or 3 in the state. Yep. It'll be a tough game. But we talk about our guys, like if you want to be considered one of those top teams in the state, you got to beat a team like this. And so we're really excited to go see what we can do tonight.
Absolutely, and going into that, off of what you just said, is your outing in the tournament has a lot of people talking about this group on social media. And are you feeling the same way about this year's squad as some of those people on social media talking about how this could be a state tournament team that, depending on the matchup, they could make a pretty deep push?
Yeah, I mean, we believe in our guys, and we know that we've got the pieces in place to have a really good year. Of course, as a coach, you nitpick and you say we need to do this better and this better and this better, and that's something that we work on every day. But as far as our mindset and as far as, we have some great kids. They love each other, they love to be around each other, they work hard for each other, and that's half the battle sometimes. And so, we've got a lot of improving to do, which I know we will. And we just got to take it one game at a time and see what happens. But this month, the month of January, is big because it kind of puts you into your playoff ranking for when February comes out. And so you got to win some tough games, and you got to go on the road and battle some tough teams. But we think we're ready for it.
And I meant to ask this question to Coach Bass earlier. I'll ask you: is in all 3 of your games, you really saw a different type of team. Mm-hmm. Like Wagner, like you said, it was their first game of the year. I don't know if maybe that's the cause of it, but they were more of like the slow, methodical team that they wanted to get into a half-court game, and they wanted to see what they could do to you athletically there. And then Carl Albert is just like Hail Mary after Hail Mary after Hail Mary, like they're having a guy run before you can even think they're running type thing. And then Southmore, they shoot so many threes that you have to get out there and guard them. So how do you feel like those 3 games and seeing those 3 different types of teams will help you in the long run?
I think it's big. I mean, it's a quick bounce back in a tournament because you don't have a lot of time to obviously practice and prepare. So you just kind of have to talk about it and scout and report and then go out and do it. But that's what a playoff is. That's what a state tournament is you play one team that may play you in zone and play really slow, and then you turn around an athletic team that press. And so you have to be ready for every opportunity. And so that's why we spend so much time in practice on different scenarios and different situations. And, our job as coaches is to make sure the kids are ready for whatever people throw at you. And we're 9 games into the season, and we've seen multiple defenses, and we've seen people play us different ways, and we've got box and 1, triangle and 2, and just different things like that. And so, I feel like our guys are ready for pretty much any team we're going to throw, and we just, like I said, got to keep playing hard for 4 quarters and just keep getting better.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on, taking the time to talk with us about the season so far. Best of luck going forward. Thank you all for watching the second version of the Mustang Bronco Basketball Coaches Show. I'm your host, Brody Feldman. We will see you next time. Go Broncos.